a very distant past, much longer ago than anyone can remember. People wondered why nights were so dark. In those days, there was only the sun to illuminate the whole world, going around and around the sky. But the sun could only do so much, and half of the time, half of the world was brightly lit while the other half was cast into darkness. We could accomplish a lot more each day if only we had light all the time, the people reasoned. We would not have to sleep at night or fear monsters in the shadows. They set their minds to finding a solution. At first, they tried to slow the sun down on its travels by distracting it with a steady stream of compliments. For a while, the sun crawled across the sky more slowly as it listened to their praise. But then, someone said, "We can always count on you rising each morning and setting each evening at the same time." His friends shushed him, but the sun had already heard it and realized it was far behind schedule. It hurried on its way. By the next morning, the sun was back on course, drooping lower, shining more dimly than usual. Then the people pointed out that the sun worked so hard, with long hours day after day. Didn't it deserve a little rest? Why not stay in one place for a while, instead of constantly going around and around the world? They suggested. The sun liked the sound of a break, so it fixed itself in place for a while the land below it enjoyed the unending day. Everywhere else, it was night. Where the sun lingered, it grew sweltering, crops died, and no one could get any sleep. In the darker parts of the land, it was cold. The crops died too, while people huddled under their blankets to stay warm, and often fell asleep. In both places, the people resolved to try something else. "Perhaps if you moved a little faster," the people said. Well rested. My headphones came undone and my cat knocked my book out of my hands. Well rested from its vacation, the sun was agreeable to the idea. It zoomed across the sky faster than it ever had before. "Faster!" the people cried. "Faster!" The sun moved faster. It moved so fast it was a bright line streaking across the sky, and everywhere it was daylight. But only for a short while. This effort tired the sun out so much it quickly burned out and crashed to the earth. "Oh no," the people thought, as an unending night settled over the world. "We broke it." Realizing that they should have left well enough alone, they went in search of the fallen sun. They found it in a large, smoldering valley that had not been there before. Or they found most of it. A large chunk of the sun had shattered, and now the pieces lay all over the land. Everyone helped gather the remnants and piece of the sun back together. When they had put it together as best as they could, they hoisted the sun back up into the sky. But the sun was now a weak shadow of its former self, and its shattered fragments kept drifting off to float nearby. Its pale glow barely illuminated the night and brought no warmth at all. "What's wrong?" they cried. "Why is your light so dim?" The sun explained that it had broken. Much of its light had spilled on the ground below. It could barely hold on to the light that was left, which was slowly leaking out and scattering through the night sky. The people panicked and grieved and pitied themselves, but they were persistent and they were clever. They decided they would have to build a replacement sun, and if they were going to make one, it should be even better and brighter than before. Everyone in the world came together for this massive undertaking. The people gathered all their resources and fashioned a glass orb even larger than the original. They collected all the sun's spilled light and poured it into the orb, which glowed brighter and hotter. Before everyone and everything around it burnt up, they hoisted the sun into the heavens. They fastened one end of a rope around the old sun and the other around the new sun on the other side of the world. So as the one moved, it towed the other along behind. When the new sun was overhead, it was daylight. When the shattered sun traveled across the sky, it cast a gentler light that allowed the people to sleep or work however they pleased. "We should have thought of this sooner," the people said. The only one unhappy with this arrangement was the broken sun, which was never as bright as it was before, and now it had to do twice the work. "You're much prettier this way," the people said. "We could never look at you properly before because you were too bright." "Even though I'm broken," the sun said, "it gives you character," they insisted. "Besides, now your light has spread all over and made the night sky beautiful." "That's true. Don't worry, we'll always know that the other sun is fake," they promised. But despite the people's compliments and reassurances, the broken sun never stopped mooning over its golden days. When it was alone in the sky, and the world had basked in its warmth. And that's why we call it the moon today. The gift of the moon. It's been a while since I've read any of these fairy tales.